So here we are at a business networking event at Prudential Stadium, and with watching the Devils game, and I meet this mild-mannered gentleman named Doug Brown, and we immediately, we made a connection. I liked the guy. He was credible right from the get-go, and I felt a certain comfort level where I could share things with him about my business, about my organization, well before I got to know him even better. Working with Doug through the strategic planning process really showed me that my personal leadership development of our organization also needed some work. I come to realize very easily that the next phase of the strategic planning process and achieving the success of that strategic plan was for the human capital portion, and predominantly myself, to be in a position to lead and orchestrate the success of this business plan. And so my ability to think differently and to uncover management techniques that perhaps I had not used before was of critical importance to the success of the organization. And so working with Doug personally on my professional development, on how to take our business service organization to the next level and lead my team was critically important.
So I started my business 26 years ago with a firm right here in Cranford. Did a really good job of helping me and training me and getting me going. And then I decided it was time to have my own business and to work with people in the financial services industry, which is what I've been doing all of these years. By meeting with Doug weekly, every Friday morning he came to my office, forced me to focus every week on what I was trying to accomplish. But as a result of those things and putting those things on paper and measuring them on a very regular basis, I was able to more than quadruple my business in the next year. It was amazing to me.
So the WISE project of opening this new 83,000 square foot facility, we had a $14 million renovation project that had to occur. And I was in charge of that project as well as being involved with the ramp up operationally. And I found out very early on that it was very difficult, to say the least, to manage this project. And I said, there's got to be a better way to do that. So I reached out to Doug and I said, I don't know if this is something that you can help me with, but, are you able to help me with project management? So, Doug Brown and Paradigm Associates, they just have so many different things that you need that you don't even know that you need them. Not only did I need project management, I needed time management. Because I could learn how to manage the project, but if I didn't have the time to do that. So we went through a number of weeks, and in the beginning it was hard to find the time, but then I started to learn how to find the time. And I was able to really, even a work-life balance, I was able to find that. So Paradigm was great, and Doug Brown, I would recommend talk to him, because what you don't know, he probably does.
I was introduced to Doug Brown through a very good friend, who's Carol Gable of Seven Pearls. She and I were discussing business. We'd had numerous conversations about business. I was talking to her about what was happening in my office, and she said one day, something, you should talk to my friend Doug Brown. I think he would be great for you. I've been working in the collection industry for over 40 years, and I've lobbied on behalf of my association. I've belonged to the International Association. I've worked on their political action board. I'm on the board of the New Jersey Association. And even with all that I've been exposed to, I found working with Doug Brown was a natural fit. I needed to be able to take my business to another level. And I needed an outsider to come in and help me see what I had in front of me. I first started working with Doug. I gave him an overview of my business and some of the things that I saw as problems. And from there, we started working together, assessing myself as a leader, the management in the company, and the people that worked here. As a result of the assessments, we were able to make modifications to the job descriptions, the way each person communicated with each other, to help improve the process to be a more cohesive group. And I would say that we had some excellent results from it. When we went through the time management, it was a very interesting process. We were able to see that there were things that we were working on that weren't in line with the goal of the company, and that there were procedures and processes that we could eliminate to make us more efficient. And so by examining everything that each person was doing, we were finding things that people had been trained to do by a former employee that were no longer relevant. And so that's where the time efficiency was very helpful for us. So after the time management, Doug provided a format for myself and for the manager to keep us on track with what was happening, what was important to us, and what was happening in the company at the time, and where we were moving forward. After a conversation, Doug provided me with another format, which was called the transactional analysis. And I found it fascinating. It was one of the most interesting things we worked on together, because I realized that even though we had done the assessments, the communication styles had advanced a little bit, but this was more of an eye-opener. And it helped me learn the styles of the people I was communicating with in my office, and whether or not they actually were listening to what I said, whether they heard what I said, they were able to repeat things back to me. I could see where I might not be as clear as I should have been or could have been. So to me, that was the most fascinating thing that we had worked on. As a result of working with Doug, what I found for myself is I'm able to step back further away from a situation that I've been in. I've been in the business for 40 years. So I do a lot of things automatically. In preparing to have a meeting with Doug, I would have to step back. So I found myself doing that more often. I listened more to what's being said to me, and I'm actually able to pick up more of the nuances of what's actually going on in my business. And also, as a result of that, we're able to stay more focused on what our actual goal is, whether it's a 1-week goal, 1-month goal, or 1-year goal. Each time I work with Doug Brown, whether it's by phone or in person, I walk away with a few action items. Things that my list didn't necessarily say was an action item, but after processing them with Doug, I walk away with a more synthesized action item, something that I know is going to work. And that's where the magic is when you're working with Doug, because you are actually going to get what it is that you're looking for.